I just hate it when the government doles out taxpayer money to help businesses run. If a business can't survive on its own and without subsidies, they just really shouldn't be in business at all. I especially don't like it when that business is a news media organization. Take a look at the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation that features Trudeau in anything from kids shows to tweets from the host of Power and Politics, Rosemary Barton, fawning over the Prime Minister in selfies. The mainstream media complex's left-wing bias is undeniable to me, and when they're getting government funding, you have to wonder who and what they're really working for, the government or to bring people the news. I actually don't even question that a lot of mainstream media journalists campaigned for the Liberal government to win the last election. Actually, the Canadian Media Guild, the union that represents 6,000 workers, including journalists at the CBC, was registered as a third party last election. And guess what kinds of causes they supported? They campaigned against Bill C-51, the anti-terrorism law that really has nothing to do with journalism at all and is a typical left-wing cause. So these journalists were not only reporting on the election, but they were campaigning in it through their union. So you'll understand why I wasn't surprised to see Corus Entertainment, who own Global TV and a bunch of different radio stations, registered to lobby the government. I do a lot of snooping around online, and I came across Corus first, which then made me really curious, so I looked up Postmedia. That's the company that owns 175 newspapers, including The Sun. And then I looked up Rogers Communications, who own Maclean's and Chatelaine magazine, a publication that's been featuring Justin Trudeau on its covers literally since he was born. Of course, they're both registered too and have had several meetings with the government. And just to give you an idea of the amount of government funding some of these publications get or have gotten, Maclean's magazine, who have published several left-leaning fluff pieces like this one on Omar Khadr, are on the top at the receiving end. One of their main contributors is Scott Gilmore, the author of that article, the supposed conservative that hates the Conservative Party so much he's trying to dismantle it and is married to the Liberal Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Catherine McKenna. According to reports, Maclean's received millions in subsidies from the government, but the Harper government cut them back by about 40% by introducing new funding rules and putting a $1.5 million cap on subsidies. That was in 2010. So here's how that turned out for them. Late last year, Rogers got rid of 87 employees and either completely got rid of print publications or halved their schedules. Postmedia has laid off countless employees and reported a second quarter loss, partly because the Liberals slashed their government advertising budget by half. So even though their lobbying page says they don't receive government funding, they still do from advertising revenue. Of course, the Liberals slashing the budget would be a good thing if they weren't ramping up their spending on their trusted state broadcaster over at the CBC. They're giving them almost $1.9 billion of taxpayer money to stay afloat over the next 5 years. They've also put in new rules for government ads that include banning partisan promotions. But this doesn't affect them. Let's get real here. They have the state broadcaster under their thumb to promote them. Anyone that's even watched the CBC's programming knows it's basically unwatchable with the amount of Trudeau cheerleading going on. Some of their columnists even find it newsworthy to report on his embarrassing sock collection, which is embarrassing in itself. But the fact that layoffs are occurring and print editions are failing isn't just a sign that digital media is taking over and these companies need to get more creative and get with the times. It shows that the mainstream media just can't survive without government dollars coming their way. And now they're lobbying hard for a bailout. But why should Canadians be paying for media sources that they can't trust not to be biased? Sure, some of Postmedia's columnists have been critical of government spending on media. They've been critical of the Liberals and Justin Trudeau and have run ads that Liberal MP Adam Vaughan was even critical of. But those are columnists and not the CEO of Postmedia, Paul Godfrey, who has basically been begging for government money in the form of advertising and subsidies for quite some time now. He wants the Liberals to extend Heritage Canada's periodical fund to include daily publications and community newspapers at this point. It's no wonder that these media companies have started meeting with the government more and more frequently since the Liberals got elected in. They're hoping to cash in on the same kinds of increases in funding that the government promised and gave to the CBC. But can you really trust a company that relies on government handouts to tell you the truth about the government? For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. If you want your news government subsidy free, check out our Rebel Canada YouTube channel and subscribe for the other side of the story that you're just not going to find anywhere else. And if you want even more fearless content, make sure to check out our subscription options starting at just $8 a month.